Security is so important today. With a new landscape and heightened security, that's where we see change must happen. Over the last 20 years, most of the monitoring has been reactive. More than 98% of CCTVs are not being monitored. There's a need for this to change, to make security surveillance smarter. That's where we have ARVAS, our anomaly recognition video analytics system.
So ARVAS is a video anomaly detection. Its mission is very simple, is to detect anomaly in videos in real time, and as soon as an anomaly is detected, is to alert a security guard and tell him, hey look, something is going on in this stream, you better pay attention. ARVAS is unsupervised learning. It does not need any supervision to learn anything. ARVAS is a lightweight engine that can be deployed to any camera, that can be deployed to millions of cameras, and that will never need any manual setup or configuration on that camera. And this is definitely a maintenance advantage and support.
So how ARVAS actually does it is the fact that ARVAS has a deep learning capability, and what it does is it actually analyzes the scene, and all this is automated.
You know, when you want to monitor some places, when there are CCTVs in tens and hundreds to thousands of them, but to monitor, there's only certain limitations that human can take, right? I mean, focus, inattention will be a factor in eventually picking out the things that you want to pick out in terms of security risk. Most of the time, what you capture is done retrospectively where you do analytics or investigations. Okay, it's post-mortem of the event.
Command center operators typically view many cameras, and each shift can be, up to 12 hours. So there's definitely a huge viewing load, and you definitely get fatigued. In this pandemic, we have to have contingencies in place. If an entire team is affected, then the cameras that they're viewing on site can be piped back to the command center, and the command center can help to view it. And with ARVAS, I can have the same manpower load in the command center, and they can view the additional cameras. The security industry has always had massive problem with manpower, having enough skilled workers and just getting the numbers, in fact. So having technology to help and reduce the load of manpower is something that the industry has to move towards.
Video analytics are mostly predefined rules, right? Things like facial recognition, license plate recognition, stuff like that. You cannot really fit that many rules in one camera, right? Because you will have limitations in terms of processing power, resources required.
Typically, in video analytics deployment, the calibration per camera usually take about 1 to 2 days. So in the large-scale deployment, customers usually have hundreds to 200 cameras.
If you are today using a rule-based system, that rule-based system, as soon as the camera is going to change position, you will have to redefine all the rules of that camera. So there are a few pain points that ARVAS addresses very elegantly.
In a command and control facilities environment, the customer will need to monitor 500 plus cameras at one go. So in order to do this, they will need a larger space. Now all this setup is actually costly for them to actually monitor it, not only just on the physical perspective, but also on the manpower perspective. Because under that circumstances, the customer will need to actually deploy a lot of security guards to look at all the screens if they need active monitoring. So with the use of ARVAS, we actually reduce the entire size that is needed. From 10 or 20 screens, we can reduce them to one screen. What ARVAS actually does is just one simple pop-up.
Through ARVAS, we've been able to discover things that we didn't know was happening on site, and with that we can change our deployment plans to ensure that we are tackling all issues on site. We've been also able to share data with our clients, that are non-security related, that could help their day-to-day operations and help to maximize their efficiency as well.
What's important is that for us to get this big data to do risk assessment, because without the data, how do you generate a crisis plan and things like that when you do not have this information itself? Just looking at silent hours, there's so much of manpower wastage itself.
In today's setup, right, customers has a lot of CCTVs and they actually need automation to help them monitor their facilities. ARVAS is actually a very cost-effective way of doing so. It doesn't require you to change the entire infrastructure to do so. So I believe that the implementation itself and the cost perspective is something that the users will be very attracted to.
At least it gives you a chance to pick up abnormalities that you may not even be alerted to and try to prevent something from escalating or happening. I think that's the game changer in terms of ARVAS, in terms of video analytics and a new way of looking at security.
So in that aspect itself, this is more a proactive approach of how we operate, rather than waiting for something to happen, then react. With early detection, it will be able to prevent large-scale incidents. That's where we see the importance of what we do, to ensure a safer world. We believe ARVAS is the future of smart surveillance.